So I'm going to go over how to work on some internal rotation of our hips, of our femoral head within that hip joint itself. So this kind of is a follow-up to our core four. So we start with our windshield wipers. Okay, so as one leg comes across and the inside edge of the knee touches the ground, that is internal rotation of the femoral head. It's internally rotating inside that hip capsule as we go. The other leg, by virtue, is externally rotating. We're working on internal rotating. I will assume that you have gone through the core four sequence of doing all of the waves. Remember, no matter what, we always want to go tall and then lean forward. Find the end range of the tissue and then breathe out as we go through that wave. I've set up this way so that you can see what I'm going to do. So, I want to work on the internal rotation of that head. I'm then going to rotate towards this spot. My internal rotation is not great. I don't expect anybody to have great internal rotation because it's very awkward and we don't often practice these things. However, it is important for the hip health and our knee health. That being said, you can see that I've turned my torso towards that bottom leg. Okay, I'm going to use the ground here to lift, and then I'm going to fall and wave. You're going to get some sensations along the inner adductors or groin. Some people, if you're really tight, may get feedback from the inside edge of the knee. If it's really uncomfortable, just don't wave as far. You may be back here. You're like, well, what the heck is the point? Believe me, over time, you do eventually fade through as you come forward. So typically I suggest 5 to 10 waves. We want to use this usually as a restorative technique where we want to restore and gain range of motion. So we could spend more time here. I would not spend more than 2 minutes here. Or maybe 20 breaths at the very most, or 20 waves. So even as I'm just sitting here, I'm starting to gain a little bit more range. Okay. Next part, I'm then going to square myself over top of that bottom leg again. I'm going to use the ground as support. I'm going to stay tall. And now I'm going to open my hip and then close my hip. So I'm trying to move just the pelvis as I do this and move through that femoral head. So you can see that the ASIS is opening, the pelvis opens, and then closes or points forward, opens and closes. My goal is to stay square with my torso over top of my shin. As I come back, I'm going to pull my belly button in to help with that rotation. And then as I go forward, my hip goes to extension, so I squeeze my hip extenders, my bum muscles, to push forward. Belly button in, butt goes tight. Belly button in, butt goes tight. Okay, when you go to switch sides, do so slowly. Reset your hands, nice and tight behind your back, you're nice and tall, shoulders are tight. And then we check back in with some windshield wipers. The windshield wipers will now allow some blood flow to come into those tissues and also acts as a checkpoint. Okay, how does that compare to the other side? I'll then set up and do the same stuff on the other side. Go tall, lay forward, go through that whole process, and then open and close. Open and close. Enjoy, have fun. As always, if you have any questions, let me know. Be careful with this one. If you haven't done any of this kind of work before, it can be interesting. You can get a lot of feedback from those hips. Take it slow. No worries, no stress. All the best.